Not particularly well celebrated at its launch, it's wonderful to know that the original Nier would earn not only a second look by audiences after the success of future games, but earn a remake all on its own to bring it closer to modern standards. Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139 ellipsis was an extremely progressive game for its time that doesn't always get the credit it deserves because it wasn't given much spotlight upon its release. Ideas that are commonplace now, like sympathizing with the enemies you're fighting, or fusing hack and slash and RPG game elements, are extremely typical ideas these days, but the games that are often credited with popularizing those ideas are almost all preceded by the original Nier. Even if its ideas aren't as revolutionary as they might have been back in 2010, few games are more effective at pulling raw, genuine emotions out of the player than Nier. Emotion is kind of the name of the game here. Usually sadness, admittedly, but the contrast between the simple-to-grasp emotional experience, like protecting the people you love, sympathizing with disadvantaged and beleaguered people, and more high-concept ideas like culture, memory, and existence, creates an experience that you can't help but think about long after you finish. At least, I hope you do. I imagine the game is a lot less enjoyable if you just ignore all that stuff. Although granted, wielding the often overwhelming powers of your haughty book certainly provides a sense of joy all on its own, as does some of the more classic game elements present, like having a straight-up JRPG party, even though it feels more like a hack-and-slash game. And few series consistently craft compelling tones better than Nier, thanks in large part to its wildly beloved soundtrack. If there's one thing that Nier Replicant can still go toe-to-toe on with any other game, it is the soundtrack. It's so good that I am tempted to talk about it more in depth, but I know I wouldn't be able to do so in a timely manner, so I'm not gonna. Except, rewrite while editing, I can totally talk about it. We're approaching the end of the series, kind of. I can take some time to expound here and there. The identity of Nier's soundtrack almost certainly lies in its use of chaos language. Basically, the singer sounds like they're saying words, but really it's just a nonsense mishmash of other languages. It emphasizes something I really appreciate, which is using the human voice as a musical instrument, not just a vehicle to deliver language on a beat. Very deliberately, this makes the world and experiences of the characters feel relatable, as the music you're hearing is blatantly familiar in the emotions it's trying to make you feel, yet has a distant or even unobtainable quality due to the use of this chaos language. The soundtrack is not subtle, you could even call it emotionally manipulative, and I wouldn't argue with you. Heck, the Nier series' MO is pretty much cheap, aggressive emotional manipulation. But the various languages employed to craft this chaos language and the talented singers that own the language as if they'd been speaking it their entire life creates a soundtrack that, frankly, could surpass the game it belongs to.